Welcome to the MotUS Edge, where we celebrate business, primarily youth sports facility management, leadership, and motivation. Co-hosted by Stacy Rowe, Cole Stott, Kevin Brubaker, and Casey Jones. We are here to fill your cup with knowledge, laughter, affirmations, and comfort knowing that you're not alone. You can and will succeed with the MotUS Edge.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the MotUS Edge. I am here with Kevin Brubaker today. It is just myself and Kevin, and we are going to talk. That's right. And we are going to talk about leading through disappointment when dreams don't come true.
Oh, wow.
Right. We all love the big wins, but sometimes leadership looks like sweeping up the pieces. So,
yeah, for sure.
We're going to talk a little bit about that today.
Okay. Well, this is already, I'm sad because Cole's not on, literally one of my favorite people in the entire world, but I'm ecstatic because Casey's not here. So literally one of my least favorites. So it's like, it is a catch-22 on this beautiful, I don't even know what day it is, but it's sunny and bright outside, a little chill in the morning. But I'm kidding. I actually do not like Cole and I love Casey. I'm kidding. I like both of them. So two of my favorite people in the whole world. So I don't even know if they listen to these podcasts. They probably won't listen if it's just me. They might listen because you're on, but
who knows?
All of our favorite, literally all of our favorite is Stacy Rowe. So it's pretty great. Thank you for doing this every week, week in and way out, whether we want to or not. Thank you for doing it. Yeah.
Go MotUS Edge.
How many have you done now? Do we have a number?
Well, there's 52 weeks in a year, and so we've done at least 52 because we're in 2026 now.
Okay.
So
you do all of them, I guess.
Yeah, so I've done at least 52.
I hadn't thought about. I don't know how many I've done, but
maybe you've done 20. I don't know, 25.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe not quite half.
Do you think you've been on half? I don't think you've been on half.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Still a little awkward. Not the talking part. I'm fine with that, but I'm not still used to the headphones, the microphone. I had to
ditch the little earbud ones. I had to get the big crazy headphones because the earbuds were killing me.
So they don't bother me. So anyway,
so leading through disappointment, when dreams don't come true, because everybody always shares their snippets of their best moments, right? And as we should, and we should celebrate those moments. There's nothing wrong with that. But I also think that it's okay to talk about the times that aren't so great, because we all have them and we all have to get through them. So I know, Kevin, you have been 30 plus years as a gym owner now. So surely you have some story to share about leading through disappointment. So why don't you tell us that story?
36 years of Charlotte All-Stars. So
wow, 36 years.
It is crazy. Yeah. So I started the gym when I was 22, and 36 years later, I did the math, and I am 58. So it does add up. I know I don't look 58. I know, Casey looks way older than me. I get that. And so ironically, I'm the oldest of all of us, but yet I have the most hair of the three guys. So I think that's pretty crazy. I think for me, all gym owners, ebbs and flows, pros and cons, and everything that we do when you're starting out, what you're learning about business as you grow. Sometimes you skyrocket, you grow really fast. Sometimes you have decline for whatever reason. And so I'll tell a couple stories, but I'll start with right after COVID, and COVID was crazy for everybody in all kinds of different directions. It was way worse for people in California. I don't know how they went through what they went through. It was weird for us because I live in South Carolina, which was wide open, do whatever you want to state. But my gym is in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was very closed. And so I was like living in two different worlds, because I'd go to work and we had all these rules and guidelines at the gym. And then I'd come home and restaurants were open and we were going to the movies and doing all kinds of things, but it was just complete opposite ends of the spectrum from South Carolina to North Carolina. But the biggest thing for us after COVID was I lost my best friend. Julie O'Brien died after COVID. She was in the hospital on a respirator, and she actually got off the respirator, and we had hope that she was coming back. And then she had a heart attack in the middle of the night and passed away. And so that was in the fall of 2021. And it was just, it was really tough. And so it was tough because she was
she didn't have COVID. It was just during COVID.
She did have COVID, and that's what led her to being sick, but she was getting over the COVID. And then she had a heart attack. And so her body was just weak. She had gone through stage 4 cancer a couple of years before. She had survived that. She had some diabetes. She was not healthy, and it just caught up to her, and her body just quit on her. And so it was just horrible. But we've been best friends for 32 years, and we've done everything at the gym together. Ironically, I've only been married for 25 now, but so I've actually knew Julie longer than I knew Jen. But we've just had, she was instrumental in what we did with cheer sport. She was instrumental in what we did with the gym, but she was full time at the gym 24/7. And I was part-time because of my cheer sport job and because things, when I'd switched and done things with MotUS and Cheer Expo. And so those were all changing. But losing Julie was a massive blow to everybody, from the hundreds of kids that she coached, all the staff that she mentored, especially Kendall. She was one of Kendall's best friends, and was, Kendall was her right hand in the gym. And when Julie passed away, Kendall took over a lot of that responsibility, thank goodness. But it was just a really tough phase for us. We lost some kids because of it. Our staff was reeling a little bit. It was just a really tough spell for us that season. New coaches that came in. But yeah, it was just lost like that. I know other gyms have had the same thing, but trying to be a leader during that time, not just for the gym and for my own family and for my own children who were coached by Julie and all the people that were looking at me, it was a pretty massive weight on my shoulders to deal with that and trying to do the best thing moving forward, and not to remember all the responsibilities of all the things Julie did in the gym. I mean, she did everything in the gym, literally, for Charlotte All-Stars. And so we had to divvy that up as well. So it was a lot. So I would say that loss and what we learned from it, and how bad things got and how good things got afterwards, and how we grew from that. It was definitely a test for Jen and I, for our marriage and us as business partners. We went from 3 gym owners to 2 gym owners, and there was just a lot of change. But overall, we survived, and we're better for it. And so, but it's still, we miss her, and it's tough. So,
well, I don't think that my story is as sad. I know that was a very difficult time, I'm sure, for you guys. Mine is more like winning and losing, actually. But, this is, I know that you will remember this routine. So kind of one of my stories, I feel like, on, leading through disappointment, was our, the year that we did the angel routine with my dancers. And it was such a special year. And my niece was on the team. I had a lot of dancers on the team that had been with me for a really long time. And there was a dancer on the team who lost her sister. We talked a lot about loss throughout that season. And, the kids, one of the things that they did was kind of, I told them to go online and find a picture of an angel that really spoke to them, right, and to print it out and cut it out and bring it to practice. And so then we all talked about our angels, and we glued them on like a poster board. And the season was really special, and the girls were really excited. It was their second year. The year prior was their first year at Worlds, and they got 7th. And so then we come back, and we are doing this really awesome, super emotional routine that really, I feel like everybody that saw it was talking about it. I feel like people that didn't see it were talking about it. It was just a really emotional routine. And so
so Stacy, because I remember that routine, I knew nothing about dance, and that was old cheer sport days. And so will you share a little bit about the routine? Because it really is one of the greatest things. Most beautiful. I mean, I cried when I saw it. I didn't even know anything about it, but I remember it distinctly when I saw it at the Raleigh Convention Center. This amazing Premier Clayton Shockers dance routine was just spellbinding. So go ahead and share about.
Yeah. So my mom had passed away when I was 21 with cancer, and she was diagnosed in October and passed away in March. So it was very quick. It was my senior year of college that was happening. And I was in North Carolina. She was in New Jersey. It was just a very emotional. My mom was she was my buddy, and I'm going to get choked up.
It's okay. It was awesome.
I feel like you never forget. Anyway.
You're good. You're good.
So I had, I feel like really just, I missed her, and it was the 10-year anniversary of her passing, and I really wanted to do something special for that. And so I decided to take on this challenge of basically telling the story of the stages of grief through dance.
Wow.
And we, it kind of worked out perfect. We had 2 kids that wanted to be super seniors, and but I was always really strict on, being at practice and showing up 15 minutes early, and, you're on a world's team and you don't have to be on this team, and, all those things. And so we had 2 girls that were super seniors that really wanted to come back and dance, but they were also cheering at NC State. And so when I decided to do this routine and we kind of put it together, we needed somebody that was going to play the role of, my mom, and somebody that was going to play the role of me, essentially, or the mother and the daughter, however you want to look at it.
So one was dressed in black and one was dressed in white or something
like
that?
Correct.
Okay, yeah.
And
so you could do this routine and have practice, and they wouldn't have to be there all the time because what the part was.
Correct.
Aren't you smart? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until just now. So
that's kind of how they got selected, essentially, for those parts, because they weren't in the whole routine technically.
Okay.
And so anyway, the routine starts out, and I'll never forget. I mean, every competition we would go to, people would gasp almost because, the girl in white comes out on the stage, and she did a really phenomenal job, actually. So we had 2 girls that played that role, and I can talk about that in a second, but which I feel like this isn't even what the podcast is supposed to be about. But anyway, so we had 2 girls that played that part, and I'll explain all that in a minute. But both girls were really good. When they came out on stage, they looked weak and frail and needed assistance kind of getting to their spot, which was all part of the dance and the routine and everything. And the one girl is all dressed in white, and she's got like a bandana around her head with her hair tucked in, so it looks like she doesn't have any hair. And everywhere we'd go, the convention center would it didn't matter. It didn't matter if there were 500 people in the audience or 3,000 people in the audience. Like, everybody it would just be like, oh my God, you could feel this energy of everybody kind of sucking in air and what is about ready to happen. And then a lot of times, they would think, oh my goodness, they have a dancer who's not well, and how sweet that they want to give her a moment on stage, and they're expecting her to like come on the stage and then go off the stage. And then she sits down on the stage, and everybody then at that point, they were like sucking in air. Now they're all leaning forward. Like, what is about to happen? And so the whole beginning part, is kind of about the death of this person who's obviously unwell, and the stages of grief then kind of begin from there. And so you're going through the anger and the loss and the sadness and the disappointment and all the different moments, and the music kind of switches. And then you start kind of realizing that, you can't live your life with all that anger and bitterness anymore. And you have to find, your way through all of that and kind of come out the other side, like we all do with the stages of grief. It's okay to lay in bed for a few days, but you got to keep on putting one foot in front of the other. So as the routine goes on, you start to feel that uplifting, and that like, okay, we're going to be okay, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to start living our life, basically, is where it kind of ends up. And the girl from the beginning has disappeared. You're kind of watching the routine, so you're not really like paying much attention to the fact that she's not out there. And then all of a sudden in the end, the team kind of opens up, and she's in her all white with angel wings, and she comes kind of walking through.
Yeah. I mean, it is literally one of the greatest dance routines ever. So the disappointment was going to Worlds and
correct. So
not do it as well, I guess. So.
Yes. So, the kids were so excited, and the routine meant so much to them, and they each had their own personal story or their own personal struggle. For my niece, it was her grandmother, that she was dancing about.
Oh, wow, Stace. This is so good.
Goodness gracious. Okay. Anywho, so it was a wonderful season in general. And they had done, they had done, for the most part, they'd done really well. And they had 2 low points in their year. And believe it or not, the first one was Cheersport Nationals, because they wanted to win Cheersport Nationals. And this was back when Cheersport was one of the largest dance competitions you could go to as a dance program, and in North Carolina, we didn't have a ton of dance competitors around us. So going to Cheersport was like our time to really see a lot of teams and see how we'd stack up. And, everybody just wanted to win that event, and they were so proud of their routine. And we were in 5th place, and it was just so disappointing to everyone. But it was kind of, again, that leading through disappointment, and just, it's okay. We have to, like, our routine is bigger than that this year. It's not about winning Cheersport. It's not about winning Worlds. It's about the story that we're telling, and, the experience that we're having as a group.
Right.
And then, they kind of moved on from that. It motivated them to go and do better, at Worlds even. And they had gotten 7th the year before, so they were really hoping to get in the top 5, and that was kind of their goal. And after day 1, we made it to finals, but we were announced in 11th place. And so here we are, not even in the top 10. Like, we're not even going to get to go on stage for the awards the next day if we don't move up. And anyway, so we ended up finishing in 9th. But it was hard because I was disappointed, it broke my heart. It broke my heart for them. The girls were disappointed and they were angry, and, but just having to, I remember like sitting down with them and really trying to just make sure that they understood that sometimes it's not about like, yes, we had this goal and we didn't necessarily reach that goal, but we all got so much more from this season than this one moment in time. And so I think that, as coaches and owners, it's difficult, when you have those times, especially because we feel it too. Like I was emotional, I was super emotional at Cheersport. I was pissed when we were in 5th, I was like, I don't understand how this is happening. This doesn't make any sense, but I can't behave that way in front of my team. I have to, put that aside and really try to help them kind of navigate through it as well. And it's okay to be upset. And like, I think that's something that I learned later on through coaching, is that it's okay to give your kids a minute to be angry and tell them that it's okay to have that space to do that. But now it's time to shake that off and move on from that, because we can't live here in this moment where we're angry. We've got to move on. We got to move on past it. And so I think, that's all multifaceted. As owners and coaches, it's difficult to be the person to put on the happy face and try to pull everybody through it, number 1. But then number 2, the older and wiser I got, like, that is still true. But I also feel like I learned to let it be okay for the kids to have a moment to feel it, to feel whatever they were feeling. It's okay to give them that space to do that. But then we've got to, okay, like, we got to move on. We can't stay there forever. So thank you, Kevin, for making me emotional and upset on our podcast this morning. Jesus.
In all seriousness, where can people see the video somewhere? Like where do they find it? Because
so really you can find it on YouTube. I'll actually have our producer link it to this podcast as well, so that people can just watch it right from the podcast. But you can go to YouTube and just search Premier Athletics Clayton Shockers. Should pull it up, and it's a pretty big group. They're in white and black, and then you'll see the one girl. I mean, you can't miss her coming out.
I'm going to watch it again after this. I haven't seen it in years. So
you know what? I think I will too. I haven't seen it in a minute either. So it's a good one. I
was going to say, oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You go ahead.
I was going to say, going back to the Julie piece, when you have that disappointment, when you have that loss, I think it's really important to surround yourself with different people that can help you, that know your heart and know who you are. And so I know for that day specifically, when she passed away, we found out that morning very early. She died at like 3 or 4 in the morning. We heard from the hospital, and when that had happened, by the time both her kids had gone to school, and so we literally, Jen and I, went to pick up Nathan from school. We had to let him know that his mom died. We went and picked up Shayla from school, had to let her know that her mom died. Oh. And then we literally had to go to the gym, and we pulled all our staff in and had to let them know that Julie had passed. And then we had to deal with, emails and sending out to, and she coached, I think 3 or 4 teams that year. So we had to let all those people know and then letting all the staff know. And so it was one of the most exhausting days I've ever had in my life. And same with my wife. And then, we're dealing with that as losing one of our best friends and our own kids. And so I know for me, it took, and then that was a Tuesday. We had her service that weekend because her family was in town because she was sick. And so they were, she had brothers in Oklahoma and sister in Oregon. And so they were all in town. And so it was like, we decided they wanted to do it quicker to have her celebration of life ceremony. So we were like fast forward, interviewing with the paper. And there was just so much to do so quickly that thank goodness we had I had some really good staff and some good friends from church and people that just surrounded us. Brought us food. We weren't family, but just trying to help us through that week and specifically. And it was, there were so many good things that came from that of just how we pulled together and the love that we had for each other and for Julie's kids. And it was just, thank goodness we had some people in our corner to really help us through that because it was one of the toughest things ever. So I'm amazed at how many gym owners feel like they're on an island or feel like they're so busy in their gym, they don't have an outlet outside of the gym. And I just really encourage people to find your peoples, whether through community or church or neighbors or family or whatever that is outside of the gym, because it's really important when something happens in the gym and you need help in that situation that you have some people to go to that can, help hold you up when you need help. And so I would just encourage that for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is so important. And, I think that we all have things that we go through, whether again, it's something, that significant, as a loss or, just angry parents or whatever, whatever's going on inside of the facility. You have staff members that are frustrated or, I don't know. There's always something, right? I feel like in the day of a life, the gym owner, it's like, if you come home without some crisis in the day, like it's a win, I feel like that's just kind of the day-to-day thing. And you got to let a lot of it roll off your back.
Right.
But I also think that, everybody deserves a little bit of, grace on how they handle, all of those different situations too, because everybody is different. And I don't think there's necessarily any one right way, but I do agree, Kevin, that it's a lot easier to get through those tough times when your dreams don't come true, that you lead with grace, and it's easier to do that. I feel like with people around you that support you. So I agree wholeheartedly.
For sure.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Whew, such a,
I know
that was
seriously,
that was a major 20 minutes.
We go into our commercial.
Okay.
Good Lord. Get ready for an event experience that's all about you. CX Brands brings the energy with 4 unique competitions: the Cheer Expo, Cheer X, Excite, and Excel. 16 events across the country, each designed to deliver excellence from start to finish. When you think cheer events, think CX Brands. Find your event now at thecxbrands.com. That's THECXBRANDS.com. Experience excellence. Experience CX Brands. A funny little story so everybody out there can know. So we started, our very first event brand was the Cheer Expo, and then we grew very rapidly, and we decided to we wanted to brand under one umbrella, and we wanted to pay homage to our first brand, the Cheer Expo. So our brand, our umbrella is the cxbrands.com, and I'm sure that we'll be adding more in the future. So, stay tuned. So you could go to either one. You could go to the cheerexpo.com or the cxbrands.com. Either way, you're going to find us. It's all good.
Yeah. So we would probably not have any more, but we have this person named Cole Stott, and all he wants to do is just add. So we'll definitely have more as long as he's around.
Yes.
So.
And I'm like, slow down.
So Awesome. You ready for a dad joke?
I am ready. I'm ready for the dad joke.
I'm the only dad on the podcast today, so I get to give it. So, what's the difference between ice and icicle?
An icicle or an ice cube is, I don't know. An icicle is long and pointy and ice is not. I have no idea.
Ice has no L. You get it? Like no L. Kind of Christmassy, kind of occasion, kind of
wintry.
Chilly. Yeah, very wintry. So,
okay. All right. I like it. I
don't like ice on my windshield in the morning. I moved to the Carolinas to avoid that. And so, but it still happens. It still happens. So be sure to send us your favorite dad jokes so we can share them and give a shout out. That was Bob from Kansas. We appreciate you, Bob. And so email Stacy at joinmodus. That's STACY at joinmodus.com.
Awesome. So I've got our Simon Sinek quote prepared for today, Kevin. So
love it.
The goal is not to be perfect by the end. The goal is to be better today. And I really like that because I think that in sports, so often, all sports, my son plays soccer. My daughter did rowing and gymnastics. We obviously, coach cheerleading. I've coached cheerleading and dance. So dabbled in a lot of different sports. As a parent, as a coach, I even was on a dance team, an open dance team once upon a time. So I think that we get so focused as, parents and athletes and coaches on the end result, the win, the, whatever the achievement is, the accomplishment is. And we forget that, it really is just about being better. If you can even just be 1% better tomorrow than you were today, and you keep getting 1% better every day, then that's tremendous, and I think that's important. I think it's important to remember that. And I think it's also important for parents, especially, and coaches and athletes to not compare themselves to others. It's your journey that you're on. You're on your own personal journey. I remember having a conversation with my daughter about that over and over and over. She hurt her knee when she was 13. She was a level 8 gymnast and she had to have a major knee surgery. And the doctor told her she was going to be out for 9 months.
Wow.
She ended up recovering. She ended up getting her full strength back. She was so on point with her physical therapy and her exercises and everything that she was supposed to do that in 3 months, the physical therapist was like, you are technically, like, there's nothing more for me to do for you. However, I can't let you back. Like, it's too soon. So you got to sit out another 2 months.
Wow.
Because you can't re-injure we've got to make sure that you're 100% healed up and you're not yet, like, even though your strength is back and your mobility is good. And when she finally got back to gymnastics, she was very behind, and you were a gymnast. So, I mean, and anybody out there that, if you don't know, I mean, you take a week off from gymnastics and forget it. Like, it takes a minute to come back from that. So you imagine she's had 5 months off now. And she was really struggling when she came back, and she was very frustrated. All of her teammates had moved on past her and they were all doing these harder things that she couldn't do. And she was kind of having to go back and do skills from like the year before, at level 7. And I just kept telling her every day, honey, you need to put your blinders on and you need to focus on what you're doing, because you are on your own personal journey. And all you can do is get better today than you were yesterday. And you can't worry about what anybody else is doing, because everybody else didn't have 5 months of injury recovery like you did. So just stay focused, keep your blinders on, and just one foot in front of the other for your own personal journey. This is your own personal journey. And, and I feel like that, helped her get through it, but that's hard. I feel like as a parent and as a kid, I feel like parents, a lot of times they want their kid to be as good as the star on the team or whatever, and it's like your kid is great in other ways, maybe, I don't know, or they're getting better and you're missing it because you're looking at the grass on the other side of the fence. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's really important, Stacy, for everyone to realize that the journey is, it's more important than the outcome. Win or lose, the journey takes way more time before that final whatever. And so if you have a miserable experience getting to that point, that's a bummer. If you can enjoy the experience and enjoy the growth, enjoy the adversity, and enjoy the ups and downs during that journey, yes, the win is amazing, but it doesn't mean the losing cannot also be amazing. And so, I can tell so many stories about competing at high levels, all over, 42 years of coaching, that, there's ups and downs in that, but the journey for all those things, the experiences that we had and all the stuff that we did with coaches and staff and our teams and those things. And so you have to enjoy the journey. And so that progress that goes with it, if you're only focused on the outcome, I think you'll be miserable, because the outcome, yes, you get to win some, but most people lose more than they win. But you can enjoy the wins, but enjoying the process to get to that point is hugely important. And
I agree.
being okay with that and being good with that as well. So,
I agree. I agree. So before we wrap up, Kevin, do you have a question that you want to ask our listeners?
Let's since we did joke about ice and icicles, let's talk about winter. And so it's chilly. So give us a winter story that I prefer it with snow or ice in some capacity of some kind. And so I would love a winter story or something that you like or dislike about winter, snow, ice, any of those things.
Kevin wants to know what you like or dislike about winter, ice, snow, cold, all the things. You've heard the question. Go to our social media at Join MotUS and find today's podcast post and comment the answer to the question. While you're there, be sure to hit the follow button. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment the answer to your question below.
Awesome.
Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at the MotUS Edge and check out our shorts. Like and comment. We love to hear from you. Give us a follow on our Instagram, Facebook, or X at Join MotUS, and follow our show wherever you listen to your podcast. If you like what we're doing and you want to hear more, leave us a comment and tell all of your friends. And hey, if you're a gym owner, join the movement and sign up for MotUS today. Thank you guys so much for listening. And we are excited for you to have the MotUS Edge.
Have a great day. God bless you.
Thank y'all. I promise I won't cry on the next podcast.
Thank you for listening to the MotUS Edge. We hope you had a blast. Join us next week for more on business, leadership, and motivation. Subscribe and follow the show where you get your podcasts. Subscribe to our newsletter at joinmotus.com. The MotUS Edge podcast is produced by ClantonCreative.com.